And we're back. Sovereign Minds, the podcast. Oh, it was an interview once, but now we're sticking to the podcast. Today is November 14th.
Okay.
Just thought I'd put a little note in there, a public service announcement. November 14th, 2025.
Do not hold this against us.
Yeah. I'm not going to expand on that. We're down here at the epicenter of freedom at Mountaintop Media. And, this is podcast 158. We're going to title this one Divisive Devices. I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. There's a teacher in the room.
That's right.
Divisive Devices? Okay.
I don't know. She kind of had that look on her face like...
Is it devices?
I had to think about that for just a second.
Devices.
Yeah. Divisive devices.
Divisive. No, that's right. Divisive devices. That sounds right.
Are the devices divisive?
Wow.
They're definitely... Yeah.
I want to introduce our guest before we go too far. We do have my sister here, but never mind.
Yeah, okay.
And then we have a guest. We have a special guest today.
We do.
We have Melody Fowler with us. She's a teacher, educator, friend. I was thinking about it the other day. You know how long we've known each other?
2011?
Since Ron Paul ran for president is where we met.
Yeah, the second time.
Second time.
Or was it the third? Did he run in 88? In 2012, when he ran in 2012.
That's what I'm thinking.
And our Ron Paul meetups, when there were meetups.
Yeah, that's so they gave me a ride to a Ron Paul rally. That's how we met.
Oh, yeah, down in
there
Davis.
you go.
Down in Davis.
Yeah, down in Davis, yeah. So I've known Melody for a long time, and she's been a good friend. And she had a teachers meeting for the parents at her school, and my granddaughter goes there. And she did you make this video or was this just online?
No, I made it.
That's what I thought.
Oh, you did make it.
Yeah.
That's what I thought.
Nice.
And so I saw the video and I was like, I don't know what to do because it's like, I think it's really on point. And I think, and so I said, I'd like to come in and do a podcast on this because, we're going to play the video and we can stop it at any time so that you can explain what your thoughts were, what you were thinking, where we're going. Mm-hmm. The video's very good as far as kind of, I think, at least laying out the problem.
Yes.
So go ahead and play, Leslie.
Before we start, this is one thing that's a big topic for a lot of us is the children and their devices and what they're doing and not doing or what they're exposed to in today's world.
Or not exposed to.
Or not exposed to. I mean, there's two sides to that coin, and it's a very hot topic with a lot of the parents these days.
We need filters.
Yeah, and it's not just the children. It's the adults.
That's true.
It's all of us.
I think that was a big takeaway.
We're all in the same boat.
I think that was a big takeaway.
We're all on that sinking Titanic. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because we're doing the same thing. How can we get down on our kids if we're plugged in?
Yep.
Right.
24/7.
Because they just they do what we do.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So
all right.
that.
Are we ready? Let's roll the tape, as they say.
We'll be playing red light, green light. You are allowed to move forward when it shouts out green light. Stop when it shouts red light.
Green light. Red light.
Pretty sure I don't want to play this game.
Green light. Red light.
You got eliminated, idiot.
I will now repeat the rules.
Green light. Red light. Green light.
You won't get caught if you're behind. Somebody else.
Green light. Red light. Green light. Red light.
Let's go ahead and stop it right there. Number one, does anybody want to play?
Well, I remember playing red light, green light as a kid, but it wasn't played like this.
No, they didn't have. didn't have guns.
Yeah, it was a whole different thing. I'm just saying.
Well, and this was the clean version. There's a more graphic one.
Oh, I bet there
And that's
is,
why
yeah.
once you explain, that's why I stopped it.
Okay.
Is because this is an actual game.
It's a show.
It's a show that kids are watching.
Yes, the producer's from South Korea, so you can see where he gets his inspiration from. He's very close to a border.
He probably escaped from North Korea.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So it's very dystopian in nature, and it's very graphic and violent. Like I said, this version was without all the bloodshed. But kids are watching this, and this came up. We have this big marketplace at Roots, and the kids were passing out these things at Squid Game. And one of my older students came up to me, and they're like, Mrs. Fowler, that's not appropriate. And so I'm like, what's Squid Game? I didn't know what it meant.
Right.
But so when I created this for the parents, at first I was going to start with, what was your most, the fondest memory growing up, being outside, climbing trees. But then I asked Chad, my husband, and I was like, I'm like, should I go more of a jarring beginning? And so that's what the beginning of this 24-minute video that I created is just some of the things our kids are exposed to on the internet. If kids have access to YouTube, they have access to all of this. A lot of these things that I presented in the beginning of the video, which is I think the first 7 minutes, are things that a 4-year-old I know had access to on an iPad, and he had over like 150 apps, and that's the thing too, is that it's just constant, like just
Looping.
what's the next? Looping.
Playing, yeah.
But Squid Games, a lot of these things were from him,
Wow.
and he's 4, so he
so-
was able to access
Wow.
Quickly, what's Roots for the people who are watching this?
it. Roots is a Christian classical learning center that puts an emphasis on farming, learning to teaching children to be self-reliant, but also giving them an education that is classical in nature, where there's a lot of great literature, narration, a lot of memory building.
Going old school a little bit here.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
spending a lot of time outside, that sort of thing.
Cool. All right, so a 4-year-old is watching this online, and that's where you got this video.
Wow.
And having bad dreams about it. It's like,
I-
and that makes sense, right?
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So should we roll a little more here and see
Or
where
you can fast forward. I mean, this goes on. Maybe I let it go on a little too long, but the next one is this.
that was the Squid Game.
Yeah, Spunic. This was made by a 15-year-old. It's no longer. He's not creating more, but it still gets replayed on and on. This one's a little shorter clip.
Yes, release the anger within. Ah! Excellent work. I can see you're much more powerful than your pathetic little comrades.
Need more bloodshed.
Gwenda, is it? If you join me, you will get to kill to your heart's content. Will you help me in my mission to rule this world?
Yes, Sprunky must fall.
Wow.
So yeah, that's Sprunky.
Wow.
Sprunky.
Yeah.
So
And they can access this from anywhere with a phone or whatever.
and they wonder
Yeah.
why you're seeing like shootings and kids going off the deep end and crazy and getting into satanic and weird stuff.
Yeah.
I mean,
They're desensitized. It's
Yeah.
I mean, this started way back even when I taught in public school years ago. We would do like a Friday free write, and they always wanted to go to something violent, and I'm like, no, let's say instead of murdering someone, say that you're tickling them, like tickle torture, and because this is just that everything is just like, and just they're not. It's just all that fills their mind. So it's
So, do you think almost all kids are caught up in this, or can you tell kids that you've dealt with that maybe aren't exposed as much?
Definitely the children who are sheltered from their parents, protected. I hate to say sheltered, but protected
by their parents.
by their
from this
parents
stuff.
that don't have access to devices. They have maintained their innocence. And that's something that we are passionate about, because in the culture that we live in, as we know, the sexualization of children is so profound.
Right,
We're
yeah.
trying to create a space where children can grow up and have a childhood and not be exposed to all of this out there. And so we're trying to get parents on board with us. And I mean, with all the research lately too, of just, kids shouldn't have cell phones until they're 16, is what they're saying.
There's a trade-off too, because we had the kids involved in our STEM, which is science, technology, engineering, and math, and we also got to be able to transfer them into the new world of technology, and be able to adapt into that as well and be successful. So it's a very hard line to figure out where it is, or monitor and prevent them from seeing this kind of crap.
Well, yes. So this is something I've said many times over again, is that in public school, we're like, 21st century, the Enterprise Elementary School District that I used to teach in, they had one device per child, and they used to boast about, we're the, north of Sacramento, that we have all the kids are going to be so tech savvy, 21st century skills. And my thought was 21st century skills are going to be what it means to be human. We are going to have to work extra hard at preserving interpersonal communication,
Right.
learning how to speak to people, eye contact, and just being outside. So to me, that's what our 21st century skills must be, especially now where the horse is out of the gate when it comes to AI, artificial intelligence,
Right.
and Chat GPT is part of that. I mean, all of it is this, like, they don't even, the creators are like, we should probably get this under control. They don't even know where it's going.
Yeah, I saw a clip on Elon Musk showing how he was kind of, it could be like the Terminator if you're not careful. It could go either way. It could be turn it into utopia, or into, Skynet becomes self-aware and starts destroying everything. Right. So I don't know. I mean, so we've got quite a bit more here to play. Go ahead, Sissy.
Yeah, I was going to say, and to your point, I've heard lately people talk more along your lines where with AI and stuff, they're afraid what's happening is in the long run, there will be no personalities. There won't be any of that feeling at all.
Desensitized to the point
That's what they're going, maybe we should take another look at this.
Makes you think like of...
Yeah, because you
Right.
can't make an AI have a feeling,
Right,
or have
emotion.
love,
Well, it makes you
or
think
emotion, or
makes you
anything.
think of Pink Floyd and the Wall. You just
Yeah.
another brick on the wall. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I just wanted to throw that out there because there is more people starting to talk like you.
So let's
out there.
probably we probably need to play a little more to get through it, because
Yeah.
there's tons of stuff to talk about here for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
So go ahead, Les.
Out among us. And yeah, today is about the lore of this game, because there is a greater story being told here. And let me warn you, it's not a pretty one. This is a game where canonically you lose. Your best interrogation skills, your mastery of 900 IQ strats, your sussing out of the most sus suspects, all for nothing. You will die. Your friends will die. Your loved ones will all die. There is no winning in Among Us. Don't believe me? Stay tuned.
That's kind of dark.
Yeah, that was
bit.
kind of more 2018, but I mean, they still
What's
they talk about it.
Well,
That's-
there's the latest one now that's just everybody's against. I don't remember the
Roadblocks? Is that the one you're talking about?
Roadblocks?
I
Yeah.
think that's one of them.
where they've been grooming your kids.
This brain rot. Okay, yeah, we'll play it and then I'll tell you.
I'll make you feel special. You feel less stressful. Fix the holes in your heart. It's
What is something that you've never told your parents?
So
I
you
never
can pause it on that part just before we get into this chat room. So brain rot, I've heard the kids say brain rot, and I'm like, what? And so I just looked it up, and I modeled that on here because kids will hear other kids talk about things, and if they have access to something, they'll go look it up. And that was one of the least. I mean, there are some of those videos, and there's like a whole character line of people in brain rot, and it's dark. Like it hits you in your gut, like an uneasiness. It almost feels like predatory, like pedophile. Like it just feels weird. Like those images are weird.
Like they're programming them maybe a little bit.
Yeah, it's just dark. I can't describe it any other way. Like it's just uncomfortable. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. If you've seen any more of those, like creepy, weird. Like it's not. I mean, we really emphasize Philippians 4:8. You know, what is true, what is noble, what is praiseworthy, what is pure. And none of this is. And so this is what's clogging our kids, their minds are just being filled with this garbage. And then we expect them to produce beauty. And it's like they can't, because that's all they have in there. Right. So, yeah, I mean, and this next part is from a Roblox chat room, which those chat rooms are dangerous. And you'll see that this person's in a chat room and he's asking these kids questions. So you can play it.
I snuck out and to go see my boyfriend. Yeah.
What time did you sneak out?
It's easy. When they fell asleep, I climbed out of the window and I came back.
You've never told your parents.
I went to the principal's office once.
For what?
Beating up a kid.
You've been bad at school, huh? You've been bad at.
Shut up.
You've been bad at school? What is something that you've never told your parents?
That I knew that they didn't love me.
But they birthed you. Why would they not love you though if they birthed you?
I'm not with my father. My mom left my father. I'm very suicidal. I hope I die.
Don't die, man. You're here in real life.
Wow. That's a real life chat room?
Yeah, there was one story of a young girl who lived near the border. So she was either in like Arizona, New Mexico, somewhere in that area. And she was in a chat room and someone was in there and they convinced her that, you know, they were talking back and forth and that they would send an Uber to her house. And she did get into the Uber. Her mom discovered she was missing. She called the sheriff. They got the Border Patrol involved. And the Uber had driven her to the border, and there was an SUV with a bunch of men waiting in it.
Wow.
And they had just intercepted, you know, that
so
in the nick of time.
The tool of child traffickers?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then there was an Australian police officer. She was on the news talking about, she said men from westernized countries. I don't know if she said white men, but it's like, or from white westernized countries.
We get blamed for everything.
But it's like, there are people online, like in Australia, they're like trying to crack down on it because they are getting kids to do things on camera, you know, because they can see them and or send them pictures. They get their information and they text them things, and then or to harm their animals, their pets, and to harm other people. And so that's going on in Australia right now. And so, I mean, I'm sure it's going on worldwide if it's from people from westernized countries like, you know, America and the UK.
Unfortunately, the predators out there are looking for this type of stuff to finagle their way into.
I don't want to get into too much of the government that has been involved in the last few years. No, I know, but I'm saying, but that's what we're talking about. Is it seems like there's child trafficking going on all over the place.
Right, and we think that, you know, we can't let kids go outside and play because, you know, they could get picked up or kidnapped. Yeah. But honestly, being online is just as dangerous. Like this next clip shows. This is what we entrust our kids. You know, our 7-year-old, 10-year-old. We give them a phone, they go in their rooms, and we expect them.
And you don't know what they're watching because you can't monitor them 24/7. I guess there's a few tools that you could put on there to see what they're watching. You know, we're all so overloaded right now with so many different things. It's hard to keep up with the technology. But let's go ahead and run this. Go ahead, Leslie.
Kiddo, it's about time for bed, okay?
Okay.
Well, remember, there's a box in the corner over there with all the pornographic material that's ever been made in the world, even the really weird stuff that could scar you for life. I'm trusting you not to look in there, okay?
Okay.
Feelings are for losers.
Oh, and this guy's gonna be in your corner all night, just randomly spewing out hateful things. Just ignore him, okay? While I'm thinking of it, there's an order form on your desk where you can purchase illegal drugs. The mean girls from your school are gonna be standing there talking about you all night. And this Russian hacker's gonna keep asking for your password.
I'm not hacker. Amazon customer service.
Just need you to ignore him, okay?
Love you, buddy. We ask too much of our kids when we give them a smartphone. Let's change the norm. Together.
Maybe we go around the room and share social security numbers.
Join the movement at smartphonefreechildhoodus.com.
I'll get it anyway.
Get your children.
children off their phone before their brains forget how to feel joy. Because here's the scary truth. Dopamine, which is a feel-good chemical, is released every time your child scrolls, every time they get a like, or they watch a short video. And overstimulation leads to dopamine desensitization, which means their brain needs more and more to feel less and less. There was a 2022 study from the University of Vermont that found that heavy screen users had significantly reduced dopamine receptor activity, especially in the reward processing areas. The translation of that is that your child's phone is literally rewiring their brain to feel numb to everyday life. So don't let this thing steal your kid's childhood. It's not only killing their time, but it's also killing their joy.
Let's stop for a second. I've noticed all of those things in the kids when they've been on there too much. And do you have the reference for the website on the smartphones? You know, how to get them off there, the website that they can go to maybe get some help for the parents, because I don't remember. I didn't have time to write it down. And
well, that was this first ad was the smartphone free childhood.
Smartphone free childhood. Okay, and then they have some tools there that we can utilize to help. You know, get them off there and or monitor or whatever we're going to do.
Yeah, because they go. It's like a digital morphine or heroin.
Heroin, digital. There's actually
Digital
an
heroin.
interview that I did not include on here, and I had meant to. Was there's a YouTube interview with a psychologist, or I don't know if he's a psychologist or psychiatrist, but he talks about digital heroin and how he sees. And he talks all about the dopamine, and she's going to go into more detail about how from the Anxious Generation, which is an excellent book, that describes how why the suicide rates are up. Kids are more anxious than ever. The depression is through the roof, and a lot of it is because devices. But these kids are just being we want to say we want to protect them, but when we give them a phone, they're exposed. And the quote that I always remember is what we have access to has access to us. And so the kids are being exposed to things and to people and predators, like we said.
Well, and is it just random? Is there a reason they're being exposed? Marketing, buying stuff. There could be a lot of different reasons, because there's different types of grooming going on here.
Right.
It's not just a sexual or a predatory grooming from that aspect. I think there's a marketing aspect of this, is grooming data, grooming trends, grooming different things so they can sell stuff to these kids.
And that's in this video later where they're colonizing our time, because that's all that we are the product. We think that things are free, but we're the product that they're using.
Right.
So, but she's going to talk more about the dopamine and how it's stealing their joy and that sort of thing. And
all right, go ahead, Les. Let's just keep going.
Jonathan Haidt's book, The Anxious Generation, took certainly the culture over by storm in the United States and some other countries. He showed us the detrimental mental health effects of these interactive devices on the developing brain. He showed us that anxiety, depression, suicide, self-harm are at rates higher than at any other point in recorded history. So I started looking at the brain research. You know, what the brain is what the brain becomes, and that's what we're seeing in these functional MRI brain scans. I want to distill this down into plain speak and make it very simple for everyday parents. When kids are engaged with an interactive device, if their thumbs are on the screen, their finger is swiping, they're tapping, they're clicking, that's an interactive device, different and distinct from the television on the wall. So let's separate those two. When they're engaged with an interactive device, the device in and of itself, that engagement is causing a hyperarousal response in their brain. Think stress response, fight or flight. It's highly arousing their emotional brain, the limbic system, which is where our reward center is. We've all heard about dopamine. And these devices are flooding the brain with inordinate amounts of dopamine. And from there, the addiction pathways are being laid. Now, here's the important thing. If that wasn't bad enough, we have a double whammy. Because the blood flow is going to that middle part of the brain that's been hyper-aroused, it's shunting blood flow from the prefrontal cortex. It's not getting the blood flow. The prefrontal cortex, let's just call it the thinking brain. This is what we parents work so hard to develop in our kids, right? What is the thinking brain, this executive functioning center of the brain, responsible for? Attention, focus, impulse control, emotional regulation, the ability to think about other people, social and moral reasoning, planning, thinking ahead. That's what we try to build in our kids. These interactive devices are stopping that growth so that kids who have excessive screen time, their prefrontal cortex is not only understimulated and underdeveloped, it is measurably smaller. That's what parents need to understand.
And I want to just distinguish that we are not just talking about social media, because I think sometimes social media or these or a video game or all of these very specific things are targeted. And what we're talking about here is the interactive devices in general. And there's whatever's happening on them.
Yeah, does that include like educational games or apps? Does that include anything on a screen like Zoom calls with grandma?
The Zoom calls with grandma are A-OK. So the American Academy of Pediatrics says before the age of 2, your child should not have any screen exposure. Now, I know parents are thinking, what? Not the world we live in. But there are some protective things we can do, and we'll get to those. But when it comes to FaceTiming with loved ones and grandma in another state, not only is it okay, that's healthy. But to your point, Jason, it is not just social media. Yes, social media is a whole other animal, and it has a damaging effect. And let's remember, YouTube and YouTube Shorts is social media. It is run by an algorithm, and it's going to feed your child content that is developed with a technology called persuasive design. And the whole motive is to get your child hooked so that they can't turn off the screen. They're lighting up that emotional brain, and they're laying those addiction pathways. So whether it's an educational video or TikTok, Duolingo or Minecraft, if it is an interactive screen, it is overstimulating that limbic center of the brain and simultaneously shutting down the thinking part of the brain. It is a 1-2 punch. Parenting is hard. It is not for the faint of heart. We have never cared so much about anything or anyone. We want to do our best. I do not think any parent ever sets out to intentionally harm their child. So again, there is no shame in the parenting game. If you are listening to this and you're thinking, oh shoot, my 18-month-old had an iPad, my 4-year-old was playing video games, I gave my 10-year-old a smartphone, and Now she's on Instagram all the time. Take a breath. Let's just slow down. There's something called neuroplasticity. That means our brain is changeable. So any harm that's been done from these interactive screens, I want to put out there right now, parents, we can change it back. And we see these in the functional MRI brain images. You can look at the brain of a child, a 9-year-old who's excessively gaming, playing video games, and you see all sorts of disruptive behavior and attention issues in his life. You take that same child and he goes away to summer camp for 3 weeks without a screen, and then they repeat that functional MRI brain scan, and his brain comes back to life, healthy, strong, and vibrant.
Interesting. Go ahead and stop it there, Leslie. This neuroplasticity, I've seen it. They've used done studies like with Noom and losing weight, and I've seen this where you can reverse the effects of, because you get in habits of eating the same ways you get in this type of habits, and it does work, but it takes some effort to reverse the process so that you change the way you're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're talking about, I think, and that's for
Well,
parents
we're
as well as
creatures
kids.
of habit.
Yeah.
That's what we are.
So.
Right. Well, and we grew up with a screen, right? Our televisions, you know.
But it wasn't interactive.
We had Atari, though. We did
Well,
have Atari.
later on, you know.
Some of us didn't have that when we were kids.
But I spent most of my childhood outside.
Right.
I mean, I was playing until dark and climbing trees and that sort of thing. But what she's saying, you know, about I never thought about the interactive. So you think, oh, it's an app, it's a learning app. That's good for my kids. But again, it's paving the pathway for addiction because they're getting, that dopamine hit. And the frontal lobe, I mean, that's our right and wrong. This is our empathy is up here in the thinking part.
Morality, a lot is
and if that's not getting blood flow, that's a problem.
Right.
For everyone.
Well, it's like you say, I was looking at that and I was thinking on the algorithms on the YouTube, it's really noticeable because you play something and all of a sudden you got 4 more of those.
Yep.
And then and you play that and you got 4 more of those. So they are getting you addicted to whatever you're choosing to look at more, and it'll just keep coming up.
It's just like natural. I was thinking it's just like natural flavor. So they've spent a lot of time in chemistry labs creating this chemical to make food addicting.
Right.
So, and that's natural flavor. Stuff that has natural flavor, it's to make it where you can't stop eating it.
If it's natural, it's not natural.
Right. A natural flavor.
And they've done that. They have done studies like with McDonald's and different fast food or different foods that they do put an ingredient in there that causes people the same sensation.
I think we
so
should,
they want to keep eating it.
I think we should find out who they is and imprison them. So, maybe we should keep going here and see how many minutes we got left. About another 10 minutes. So let's keep going and see if we can
there's
get
some good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. This song is from Arcade Fire. And it's called The Age of Anxiety.
I recognize that guy.
Yeah, this is my feed. 6 signs you're an addicted phone zombie parent and what it's secretly teaching your child. 1, you bring your phone with you everywhere, even into the bathroom. You don't even think about it anymore. It's just always on you, and your child sees it. What they're learning, even when you're alone, you still need your phone. I guess it's normal to always have your phone with you, even when nothing's happening. I'll probably need mine all the time, too. 2, you scroll during playtime. You're with them, but your eyes are somewhere else. They hand you a toy, you nod without looking up. What they're learning? My parents are here, but I don't feel like they are. Maybe what I'm doing isn't fun enough. Maybe I'm not fun enough. Screens must be way more interesting than me. 3, you scroll or look at your phone when overwhelmed. The noise, the mess, the demands. It's too much, so you look at your phone or scroll to cope. What they're learning, when things get loud or hard, you go away into your phone. Do I make things harder? Maybe that's what I'll do too when life feels like it's too much. 4, you say just a sec or in a minute all day long. They ask for you. You say, hold on, but you don't come back. What they're learning, you always say in a minute, but the minute never comes.
Go ahead and stop it there for
Maybe
just
I'm
a
too
second.
much.
I learned so much from this little section here, and I've been using this, and it's made a huge difference on my interaction with the kids.
Nice.
All of a sudden, we are getting eye contact. I'm making sure I put the thing down. I make sure I give them my full attention when I'm talking to them. And I can see a difference in just a couple of weeks since I watched this, because I never keyed on what you were saying, that you're not paying attention, that they're not worthy of your attention. We're just busy, and we're just so busy doing things all day long, just trying to get through it. I'm trying to pay the bills. I'm trying to do the shopping. I'm trying everything. But I think that is just a huge piece of the puzzle that people need to realize and change in their behavior when they're interacting with the kids.
Well, if you flip it, when the first time I didn't catch it like this time I did, that we will yell at the kid or get mad at the kid or say, put that down. Pay attention to what? Look at me.
Go right to
Look
your
at me.
phone.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You might be yelling at him while you're looking at your
But
phone.
the kid can't yell at you while you're looking at your phone.
Yeah.
And they're trying to get your attention.
No, I've heard children complain. My parents are always on their phones, and and they don't always vocalize it,
Right.
And so, and this isn't just for parents and children too, it's spouses, my own marriage is an example. Like I've like responded to Chad sometimes. I'm like, I'm in the middle of this reel and it's really good. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you want? And we're all guilty of it. And it's like, but and he'll talk about, that's the next piece too, especially with the AI. And I didn't even touch on that in this whole video, but just how our kids are going to be connected to artificial intelligence and not even to each other. Like they're no longer going to be connected to humans.
We have to learn to put it down.
We have to. It's a huge problem.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Leslie.
I guess phones always come first. 5, you snap or yell when they interrupt you while you're texting or scrolling.
There you go.
You weren't mad at them, but your nervous system was fried and they got the fallout. You get mad when I talk to you when you're looking at your phone. The phone makes you frustrated when I need you. Maybe I should wait until the phone is gone to feel safe. 6, you check your phone during bedtime, dinner, and car rides, moments that could build connection and actually reduce the behaviors you're frustrated by. What they're learning, you're learning, you're looking at your phone. Again, we don't talk much when we're in the car or eating. You smile at your phone more than me. I guess the phone is just always with us. You think you're just checking a text, just answering a message, just watching one more video, and there's nothing wrong with that sometimes, but if your phone gets more of your presence than they do, you're not just using your phone, you're showing them that love means being half listened to. To be close to someone, I have to compete with the screen. I'm not as interesting as the phone. When people care about you, they still might ignore you. Maybe I should stop asking for attention, and one day I'll do this too. You're not failing, you're just tired, and your phone became the only thing that didn't need something from you. I know because I've been there. I've scrolled through bedtime, snapped mid-text, missed moments I swore I wouldn't miss, not because I didn't care, but because I didn't know how to stay present. And again, the irony is all of this is from social media. This is excellent. He's a comedian, Bo Burnham.
At the end of the day, you have a choice in your bed at night between all of the information in the history of the world or the back of your eyelids. And that's a crazy, crazy binary to be choosing the entire time, And it's like we're hyper-connected and we're lonely. We're overstimulated and we're numb. We're objectifying ourselves and we're expressing ourselves. So both things exist. Why do you think they would make a company for 13-year-olds where a photo disappears after 24 hours? Why do you think kids would want to use that? You know, I've been to Silicon Valley. I've met these places. They're buildings full of 300 people who are all employed to give children what they want, not what they need. The base interests of children's wants. Because before, you wanted to get to a kid, you had to appeal to their parents, because their parents would turn the television off. So if you wanted to make a program for a kid, it had to appeal to their parents, because their parents were in control of the media they consumed. The kids have direct access to it now, so it doesn't matter. And there's an entire dialogue happening between these tech companies and kids that parents are completely unaware of, and entire companies and apps evolving and changing based on a complete dialogue with kids like ids. It's wild, wild, wild. Oh, when my kid's 9, he's not going to have an iPhone? Yeah, of course not, because it's going to be plugged into his head or whatever at that point, you know? No, but truly, so like that's the really hard thing is that, and even with formulating opinions or making art about the internet, by the time you take the time, this is the problem about the internet in general, by the time you take the time that is needed to think about something, to articulate it, it is obsolete. Kids are like walking through this like meta virtual reality world. It's not that they think the world in their phone is real. It's they think the world in the real world is virtual, and that this is actually just like a thing to be seen, and everything I'm doing is actually a performance that can be captured and looked back on at any moment. Yeah. And I'm not just living moments, I'm planning moments to look back on them. It's very, very strange and like heady. They're coming for every second of your life. That's what these companies are coming to. This company as well. And it's not because anyone is bad. It's not because anyone in this company has evil plans or is trying to do this. They're not even doing it consciously. It's because these companies like Twitter and YouTube and Instagram and everything, they went public and they went to shareholders. So they have to grow. Their entire models are based off of growth. They cannot stay stagnant. Twitter grossed $4 or $5 billion last year. It is in the red. It is unprofitable. It has to get more of you. That could be the ceiling for a place like this. YouTube, the ceiling could be 3 hours of engagement. No matter how nice it's trying to be, it is all that they're trying to get more engagement from you. We used to colonize land. That was the thing you could expand into, and that's where money was to be made. We colonized the entire earth. There was no other place for the businesses and capitalism to expand into, and then they realized human attention, that they are now trying to colonize every minute of your life. That is what these people are trying to do. Every single free moment you have is a moment you could be looking at your phone and they could be gathering information to target ads at you. That's what's happening. So like as much as we can, you know, have really good conversations and try to humanize the conversations, the like mechanism of the business is rolling towards that just because of the market. So like it's coming. It's coming for every free second you have. These content creators are wrestling with these difficult questions of the sort of weird meta like hellscape that it is to be online. It's weird and it's complicated, and the kids know it and they sense it. That's why their memes are all ironic and detached and self-referential and 12 layers deep, because truth is completely dead to them and they know it. They look at the president, they look at the culture, they go, what the hell is this? They look at like Coca-Cola commercials that are winking at them and smiling, and they go like, forget it.
Wow. Oh, we got about 3-4 minutes here.
I'd advise for you to find a home for your phone that is not in your pocket, that is not attached to your body like an extra limb. Find a place, find a drawer, find a table, find a room. For the majority of your phone's life, it would be very supportive for you, for your intelligence, for your peace, for your sovereignty, for your health, to leave that phone in its place and to not always be taking it out into the world with you. Most of our mental health issues, most of our neurosis, our emotional challenges we're going through can be almost immediately remedied by severing or changing the relationship that you have with your phone, with your screens and with your devices. Doesn't mean you need to put it in the bin. I mean, you could, but you don't have to do that. There's got to be some distance. How clingy are you with your phone? Imagine if your phone was a relationship. Imagine if it was a romantic relationship. That wouldn't be a healthy relationship. For the other person to be the one consistently dictating how you feel in your body. Even worse, you're unconscious about the fact that most of your emotional states are being dictated by this other person in the relationship. What that person chooses to say or show you or express from the moment you wake up in the morning until the moment you go back to sleep at night, your entire life, your emotional states, which means your life force, your mind and your preferences are being controlled by someone else. Now that would be a very traumatic, toxic, and unhealthy relationship to be in.
Interesting.
That gentleman, and there was another video on how it's idolatry, idol worship.
Right, idolatry.
Yeah, idolatry.
Yeah.
That's what like hit me one day, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Start worshiping your phone.
We spend more time on our phones than we do reading our Bibles or in prayer.
If you come home and you got your phone up on a shelf and there's candles around it.
Well, yeah, that's pretty bad. But we treat it like that.
Right.
It's right there next to our bed. It's the last thing we touch. It's the first thing we touch in the morning.
I think you're onto something there, and the extent of how healthy that is, or I think it might depend a little bit on the individual, but at the same time, there's a trend here, like you say, they're mining you, know, for your time, and it's becoming more and more apparent that is the case.
And we've allowed it. When you stop and think about it, our phones and stuff anymore, that's the only way we think we can communicate.
Well, it's not, and it has been pushed on us to the degree that is a lot of the way to communicate. It's easy, it's functional, it does a lot of things, but there's a lot of additional baggage that goes with that.
Yeah, most definitely.
And that's the problem, because we're stuck with that cell phone if you're trying to communicate. We're stuck with the cell phone because if your kids are someplace that they need to be picked up, they got
we
to
don't
go
have
haul
landlines
you.
anymore.
Yeah, we don't have any
or anything
landlines.
like that.
But they're coming back. Landlines are coming back.
Really?
Yeah, they're starting to trend again, where people are like, you know what? I don't want my kid to have a phone. We're gonna get
that's good,
and we're gonna install a landline.
We'll see what happens.
And like he said, if it's like a romantic relationship, if you were in that, and that was an individual, you probably tell them, you know what? I'm out of here, because the controlling piece of it. Right. But you're allowing a phone to control you.
Well, the best type of control is when you don't know you're being controlled.
I guess.
Yeah,
Well, and that's why I included Huxley. I have not read A Brave New World. I've read 1984 a couple times, but because there was I listened to a lot of John Lennox is a mathematician at Oxford, and he has all these lectures, and they were talking about, is it gonna be a 1980? Was Orwell right, or was Huxley right? And Huxley, that part of the voluntary, the self-pleasure, like that's where we're headed, and that's what people are being sucked into. We don't really need anyone to control, because we do it ourselves. We surrender, which we are supposed to surrender to God.
You get rid of all the morality. That's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Even atheists prefer to have a Christian moral society, because they know that means there's order.
There's order. It's safe, and we're all living by guidelines that promote a civil society, as opposed to the chaos and all the other stuff that we're getting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Interesting.
If you want to watch the video, it's The Great Disconnect, and you can pull that up on YouTube.
Which I guess there's a movie. I'm like, oh, this is a great title, but there's a movie called The Great Disconnect.
Oh, I didn't know that. So, but it's under Roots Farm EDU, and so I guess I think we're going to end it here and let the viewers.
They need to do some of their own research and look at this.
Yeah, and detox. And I mean, the first thing is just to think about reflect on your own relationship with your phone. How clingy, like he asked, how clingy are you with your phone? Do you have to take it into every room with you? Start there. Leave it in the kitchen. Charge it in the kitchen and get an alarm clock. Purchase an alarm clock.
Creepy.
We don't need to take it to bed with us. And I mean, they've proven that that's terrible for us as well.
Well, the blue screen keeps you awake. There's all kinds of
people
stuff.
can't sleep, and it's like,
Right.
I wonder why. Because you're scrolling, read, before bed instead. Just start making these small habits, and there's small degrees that will get you closer to what you want.
Right.
And be present with your kids, because by the age of 12, you've already spent 75% of the time that you're going to spend with them as children. Because most of our lives we spend with our kids is when they're adults.
Right.
So.
All right. Government is not reason, it is not eloquence, it is force, and force like fire is a dangerous servant and a fearful master, said George Washington before the cell phone.
Until next time.
All right. Have a good one.